for sure you gon' need 3 promoters. I got the body from Jim Ellis, but I had switched the motor. I got these badass bitch riding around this bitch named all the coders. Yeah, I just told her make a story. Yeah, I just bought all the Trojans. Yeah. I told her style my me.
Alright, hello and welcome to episode 47 of the Rhody Rumble podcast. I'm Adam Bernstein. Today we are joined by Carlton Silk Owens. Silk is a former URI basketball player. He was a member of the 1987-88 Rams team that made a run to the Sweet 16 and the NIT the year prior. I appreciate you taking the time, and how are you today, Silk?
I'm doing well. A little under the weather, but other than that, I'm fine. And finally got a chance to sit down and talk with you a little bit. I apologize for putting off the last one, but we're here now, so.
No worries. I appreciate you taking the time and, again, being here under the circumstances and everything, but I mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. A lot of these questions are my dad's questions. He's an alumni of 87, so I got the hat on and everything. I'm representing.
I like it.
Yeah, of course. He was actually at the Sweet 16 game against Duke, New Jersey.
Okay.
But yeah, again, appreciate you taking the time, and I know Kenny Green also connected us a while back, so I'm glad we're finally able to sit down and do this.
Yeah, finally. I appreciate you having me too.
Yep. So the first question I have for you is, what motivates you, or what is your why?
Just being a good person. That's how I live my life every day, and my parents instilled that in me at a young age. Being a good person, treat people like you want to be treated, and I pass that on to my kids today. My wife, players. You got to treat people fairly and equally, and good things happen. You got good people around you. So, at a young age, I've been that way all my life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to jump into a couple of questions about your playing career, and just how you got into playing basketball and things like that. So I know you're originally from New York, Brooklyn, I believe. I'm from New York as well, Long Island. So it's a good connection there. I was wondering what the recruitment process was like for you, coming to URI. What made you want to commit to Rhody? And, ultimately, how did you get into the sport of basketball? What attracted you to that?
Well, starting with the recruiting process, it all started like my sophomore year in high school. I had a pretty good sophomore year. I started as a sophomore at Lincoln High School in Brooklyn. And I played with Stephon Marbury's older brother named Don Marbury. So they got a talented family. And he was the one that kind of pushed me to go to that high school because we grew up in the same neighborhood, and he would see me play all the time. He said, look, you have to come to Lincoln. Like, you're going to start there. And, for a young kid coming up, all you want to do is start.
Right.
That's your goal, to start. And to start as a sophomore and have a great sophomore season, that was good for me. As the season went along, I started getting better and better, improving, playing the point guard position. And, recruiters started coming out, writing me letters, coming to the games. And so I kind of exploded towards the end of the season. I had one playoff game, and we played one of the top teams in New York City, and I ended up having like 32 points that game. And it was nothing but threes I was shooting, but there was no three-point shot back then.
Yeah.
So I kind of exploded on the scene, and then my recruiting went up sky high. And so that's when it all began for me as far as recruiting-wise. Gaining interest in basketball. That started at a very, very young age. My dad kind of introduced me to the game. When he would come home from work, he would always put on the Knicks game. The Knicks always seemed to be on TV back then, right? So I would sit with him and watch the Knicks. So I'm a diehard Knicks fan.
Nice.
Even today.
Me too.
Even though we're terrible,
Yep.
I'm still a Knicks fan, right?
Yep.
So I love the Knicks, and I kind of fell in love with Clyde Frazier.
Nice.
So Clyde Frazier. A lot of young guys including yourself, you probably don't know who that is. So Clyde Frazier was the point guard for the New York Knicks. He wore number 10.
Yep.
That's where I got the idea to wear number 10. And he was my idol back then. So, and I was like 3 years old when I started. And at that time, I wanted a basketball really bad. So for Christmas, my parents said, "What do you want for Christmas?" I said, "I want a basketball and a big wheel." So you don't know what a big wheel is either. No. So, but big wheel is kind of like a little bike for kids. There's one big wheel in the front. That's why they call it big wheel. And then two in the back.
Okay.
And I just love that thing. So between the big wheel and the basketball, I was excited. Of course, I got more stuff than that, but those two stuck out. And so when my dad would go to work some weekends, he would take me to work with him. And then during his lunch break, they would go play basketball, him and his buddies. So I would be on the sideline, dribbling my little basketball, trying to throw it up to the rim. 3, 4 years old, you can't really reach, but I was developing my strength, my awkward form, because I had to throw it from my waist. I wasn't strong enough then. So, and as I got older, them shots started going in. By the time I hit 5 or 6, now I'm making them.
Yeah.
So the interest gained even more. So I was like, oh, I really like this. I love playing basketball. And, so that's when it began for me. And, I started playing what they call, it wasn't AAU back then. We played CYO, the PSAL. We played them kind of leagues. And I started doing well in them. Along some of my friends from childhood neighborhood, and we would win tournaments. So that was exciting. I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna be pretty good at this. And so I wanted it so bad, I just started working out every day. Like every day. You're not born a good basketball player. You might have the genes to be athletic, things like that, but you got to work on your skills. And I worked on my skills every day, at least 6 days a week. I'm out there, trying to get better every day, trying to get better. And then enter into high school, which we already talked about. Everything started falling in line for me. Recruiters coming out. But my junior year, I missed my whole junior high school. Unfortunately, I got shot in my arm, in my left arm. And, I'm a lefty.
Yeah. So,
it was devastating for me at that time. And because my stock was going up.
Right.
And, so, I haven't missed the whole season. So I don't know if it was the scouts thought I was a bad kid or they didn't think I would ever play again.
Right.
Yeah. So I kind of lost all of that. And I had to rehabilitate myself, get my arm strong again, kind of like start all over.
Yeah.
You got to start all over. I got to learn how to shoot again, dribble, all of that. So difficult time in my life, but I had, support, my family, my friends, my coach, Coach Bobby Hostin. He's the best. And he's my mentor. And he instilled some confidence in me. And but it was rough. So as I got stronger, my arm got stronger. I was able to play a little bit, a little better. So I ended up going to a camp. It's called an AFB camp, Athletes for Better Education. And it was run by Sonny Vaccaro for Nike. They call it the ABCD camp now. And I played in that, and I shined. And that's when the college recruiters started coming back. He was like, oh, he can play. He fully recovered now. And, if I'm talking to my coach and other people, they knew I wasn't a bad kid. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So right. That's why. Yeah, so going into my senior year, I had a good senior year. But there was one particular coach that never backed off. And That was Brendan Malone. He was a coach at Syracuse, and he was recruiting me since I was a sophomore. But he never backed away after that incident. Never. He was the only one. I never forget that. And we built a relationship, and there was some trust there. I trust the guy. He didn't back away from me. I had nothing but love for him. And I wanted to go to Syracuse, to be honest. But at the time, they had a guy there named Pearl Washington. He was like one of the best guards ever in high school from Brooklyn. He went to Boys and Girls High School. He was like a sophomore at Syracuse. So I would have been backing him up.
Yep.
Coach Malone ended up getting the Rhode Island job pretty much the last minute. And he called me. He said, "You the first person I call. I just got the job. Are you all right? And I want to hand you the ball. I want you to come to Rhode Island." Like I said, he never backed up for me. So I said, "Coach, I have no idea where Rhode Island is. I'm from the big city of New York.
Yep.
But if you're there, you want to hand me the ball, I'm going to play right away. Where do I sign?" I said, "Where do I sign, Coach?" "Bring the national letter of intent, letter with you." And he met with my parents, and that's how it all happened, me coming to the University of Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, right off the bat, first of all, I'm from New York as well. As I mentioned, I'm a diehard Knicks fan.
All right.
And I mean, I love Clyde Frazier. Actually, my dad had the opportunity to meet him. I forgot what the connection was. I think.
Oh, really?
My grandmother used to work with the Knicks. I know she sold eyeglasses, so she might have been one of the eye people for the New York Knicks.
Okay.
I love Clyde Frazier. I unfortunately wasn't alive to see him play, but for someone trying to get into media, I mean, I think he's a great color analyst. Mike Breen is my mentor, my role model. I'm actually interning with MSG this summer.
Oh, great.
I love the Knicks. I love the New York connection, but you just talk about your comeback story and you go year by year in high school. And unfortunately what had happened to you junior year, it's kind of similar to me, honestly. Going into my senior year, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So I was a tennis player. So I had to kind of put a hold on certain things and prioritize my health a little bit more, get stronger. I didn't continue to play tennis after high school, but I wanted to stick with sports and go into media. And then you just talk about how you had one coach and you had your mentors believing in you and how you wanted to go to Syracuse. Watch, I didn't even know that. And I have actually a question about the game against Syracuse, which I'm sure that must have felt interesting for you. That's later on in the interview. But just how you ended up at URI, it's crazy. I feel like everything happens for a reason. I'm a true believer in that, and I think it obviously happened for a reason, and we wouldn't be sitting here having this interview or remembering Silk Owens if it didn't happen. And I'm happy you came to URI and we're still learning about you today. So.
Oh, I'm happy as well. So a lot of good memories at URI, and I met a lot of great people there that I still talk to today. So like you said, everything happens for a reason, and this was a good one. So I was proud to be at URI.
Absolutely. My next question for you was, did you have a mentor growing up? But you sort of answered that one. So we'll go on to the next question. You get to URI now, right? So the first 2 seasons, you guys kind of struggled as a team. And then URI brings in Tommy Penders, as the story goes, as the coach. I was just wondering what the turnaround was like for the team. What was different in the locker room? What was different about the chemistry that, really flicked the switch on for, you guys as a team and eventually have those NCAA tournament appearances?
Well, it was all positivity. Coach Penders is still confidence in you. Had you believe that you can get it done. And he instilled that in all of his players. Play free, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Because if you worry or concerned about making mistakes, that's when you're going to make them. Because it's in the back of your mind. And he encouraged us, play your game within the system. Now, a lot of people don't think it was a system. We did have a system. And it was just, we had a lot more freedom. And, everything was loosey-goosey in the locker room. And Coach Penders is a tough guy. You know, he's tough.
Yeah.
So he's still at us. We was tough, and we wasn't afraid of anyone. And,
Right.
You know, you love to play for somebody like that. And I'll tell you who benefited the most was Tom Garrett. When Coach Penders came in, we moved from half-court offense to up-tempo basketball. And Tommy was a great athlete. He ran a 5:03 at a mile.
Wow.
It's amazing. That's like he should have been on the track team.
That's insane.
5:03 and a mile. So, you know, preseason, you got to run the mile under 6 minutes. He ran it in 5. Like, I thought that was amazing. And so that kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? But it carried over to on the floor, right?
Right.
And, you know, we started this up tempo, we started pressing, and we just started shining from there. Like the locker room was great. Everybody was upbeat, happy. And, you know, when you have chemistry like that, good things happen. You know, we was friendly. Like all the players, we like one another, you know, on and off the floor. That's important. Team chemistry. And we believe.
I think I lost your audio again there at the end, but you know, you were just saying that, you know, you believed in each other and you had that confidence in one another. You mentioned Tom Garrick, and I actually had the opportunity to interview him pretty recently, a couple of weeks back. And he talked about, you know, how he kind of just evolved into this player when Tom Penders came in, and it really just helped the team. You guys just had this confidence. It sort of just switched things. And I'm hoping that right now with what URI is going through, you know, I just sat down with Sebastian Thomas, and he was pretty honest in saying that, you know, there are a lot of errors and there are a lot of things that they could have done better as a team. And, you know, I'm hoping now with kind of this new opportunity to bring in a new coach, an experienced coach, you can maybe just, you know, hit the restart button, readjust, and figure out, you know, what you need to figure out internally, and then put it together on the court. So, you know, I liked what you talk about there with Tom Penders coming in. It's amazing how much an impact one coach can make. And, you know, he obviously made that impact. So your senior year was just phenomenal. 28-7, making the NCAA tournament run, Sweet 16. What made that year so special, the 1987-88 season? You know, if you could describe the runs over, or the upsets, I should say, in the run over Missouri and then Syracuse, you know, and then a follow-up question to that, I believe Syracuse was in the finals the year before. You guys were able to stop them in the second round. So what was that game like, you know, and you just talked about it too, you were planning on going there, planning on committing there. So how important was that game to you, and more so just that season in general?
Oh, well, the season was great. It started off well for us, and we went out to Hawaii and played San Diego State, I believe, a few other teams, but we was successful out there. Our first 2 games we played in the Virginia Classic, University of Virginia Classic, and we won it on their floor against Virginia now. So from then on, we knew we could get it done. Like the confidence went sky high from there, and it carried over throughout the season. Playing against Temple, who was number 1 in the country at the time. That was pretty much the only team that really gave us problems in the A-10, aside from Duquesne. Let me change that. Duquesne was one team we couldn't beat. I don't know why. We just couldn't match up with Duquesne.
Yeah. So
our senior year, we lost 4 games in the conference. We went 14-4. I tell you, I'm under the weather, so my throat.
No worries.
Hopefully you can hear me clearly. But
yep,
we went 14-4. We lost 2 to Temple, 5th, 6th seed in the conference, and we couldn't beat them. But other than that, playing against Temple, our confidence was building each game we played them. Like first game, they beat us by 9. Second game, 7. We lost to them in the A-10 championship game by 5. So we knew we was on that level. And Temple was number 1 at the time. So we knew we was in the ballpark. Moving forward to the NCAA tournament, facing Missouri, we had our confidence was built up. We knew we could beat them. Like it was no doubt. It was no doubt in our mind.
Yeah.
And with Coach Penders behind us, encouraging us, we can get it done. We already knew. There was no fear. They had 5 guys on their team end up playing in the NBA. 5. And little old Rhode Island, we went up against them and took it right at them, like from the jump. And so what pissed us off going into the Syracuse game was the announcers. I think it was Brett Musburger and Billy Packer, big time announcers. So they go, the second round game between Syracuse and Missouri is going to be a great game. And Coach Penders saw that.
Yeah.
And he came and told us. He said, you know what them announcers said? The second round game between Missouri and Syracuse is going to be a great game. They just disrespected us. So that fired us up. Like, okay, now we got to show and prove now, right? Now we pissed off. So playing Syracuse, I had my personal agenda because I wanted to outplay Sherman Douglas. He's one of the top point guards in the country. Kenny wanted to outshine Derek Coleman. He's a future lottery pick. And Garrett wanted to outshine the shooting guard, Matt Rowe. And Ronnie Cycli was the number 1 pick that year to move forward, but we weren't too concerned with him. We knew he was going to get his. We was concerned about the other 4 on the floor. So we had so much confidence going against them because of the personal agendas, but we put it into a team concept and where we just played together. Nobody was trying to, outshoot the next guy. We played as a team, played as a unit, and we took it to them. We took it to them. We had great fan support, and being a player, it's nothing better than have great fan support, especially on the road. Somebody like your dad coming out supporting us, cheering for us while we out there, giving 100%. That's the best. You can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah.
And we don't want to let them down, right? They came a long way to support us.
Exactly, yeah.
And so that just pushed us even more. And it was a great game though. Great game. It was close throughout. We went on a spurt. They went on a spurt, but we never gave in because of that confidence we had from Coach Penders and believing in us.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible because, when you just talk about like the announcers predicting, because I feel like that happens, but they don't just come out and say like, oh, these 2 teams are going to face each other next round before the game already happened. It's like,
exactly.
You don't hear of that. Like that just doesn't happen anymore. So that's crazy that you just kind of come in with the chip on your shoulder now. And you're just like, oh, we're going to prove them wrong. Like we're Rhode Island. And like, I think I was listening to another interview you did and like someone said something to you at like the free throw line or something.
Oh, Sherman Douglas.
Yeah. What was that?
So Sherman Douglas goes, where is Rhode Island? And what conference are you guys in? Like, I never really heard of you guys. So I said, don't worry, by the end of the game, you're going to know where Rhode Island is located and what conference are we playing. Trust me. So I take the free throw, and you can see during the game, I was smiling, though, at the free throw line because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
He just made me laugh, and I made the free throws, of course. And we just continue playing from there. But we was being disrespected during the game. Like, you don't disrespect us during the game. Yeah. So they should learn from that.
I hope they did by now. Yeah. Moving on to my next question. You hold several Rhody records, including most points scored in like the 1,000-point club, 2,114 in your career. Points scored in a single season, 762. Field goals made, 766. 3-point field goal percentage was .462. You know, how does it feel after all these years that you just are still a notable part of Rhody's history?
Boy, I didn't know about them numbers, man. That sounds amazing. I mean, it's great. It's been almost, 35 years. Coming season, I had these records. Records are made to be broken, but they haven't almost 35 years. I think that's amazing. And it's funny, at the time while I'm playing, I'm not thinking about these numbers.
Right.
They never crossed my mind. So looking back at it, I was like, boy, I scored 2,114. If I would have just had 6 more in this game or 6 more in this game, I could have had a lot more points. But I wasn't looking at it like that. I was just playing the game.
You're saying like some players think about like their numbers every day.
Yeah, every game, they go back checking their numbers. I don't think that's a good idea, because then you could do things on the floor that you don't normally do, trying to reach them numbers. And it's a bad thing. I think you should just play the game and what's going to happen, let it happen. And it could be a bad thing checking numbers like that every day.
Yeah. That's incredible that, you were still honored and, your numbers are still in the record book. If you go on GoRhody.com, the URI Athletics site, you go to record book, you see Silk Owens up there all the time. It's crazy to see. I hear the stories about these teams, and that's why I want to, capture it and talk to you guys and learn about it. And I'm a diehard Rhody fan from New York because my dad went there, and now I go here, and I've been following the program for so long, and it's important to hear these stories and to hear these memories. So that's incredible that you were able to have some of these seasons, at Rhode Island, and you were finally honored for that. So in 1993, you and Tommy Garrick were inducted into the URI Athletics Hall of Fame. I'm just curious, like, what does that honor mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, the university appreciated what I offered to them, and went out and performed for the university at a high level. And that's just respect, respecting what was accomplished out on the court. And, be in the Hall of Fame. Every kid dream they want to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So, as a freshman coming in, like, one day I want to make it to the Hall of Fame at my university, no matter what university.
Right.
That should be something you want to accomplish. And that helps motivate you putting in hard work on a daily basis. So you got to work hard, Adam, and it ain't just going to happen. Yep. So you got to work hard for it. So we all know that. We all understand
that's the goal, that's why I do the podcast. That's why I, write the articles, do the podcasts. I'm trying to work hard. I'm trying to have that drive to succeed and make a career out of this someday and do something and, accomplish big things within the industry. And, you were able to do that. And that's, incredible that, the university finally honored you in that way. I'm going to get back to you, Arai, but I just want to go off. You eventually graduate before joining, coaching ranks and everything like that following college. You played professionally for a couple of years in the CBA. An outstanding college career. Can you just briefly go into that experience of, what it was like to play there, and then also how you eventually transitioned and got into coaching?
Well, right after my senior year, I was drafted by Pensacola Tornadoes in the CBA, which is now in the NBDL. Coach Joe Mulaney from Providence College, the Hall of Famer, he drafted me. And it was a good experience for me because I played against some really high-level players in that league, as well as on my team. Like, I had some high-level guys, and it was hard for me to get minutes. As good as I was, it was hard for me to get minutes. Now, things happen at that level you have no control over. So one thing I did learn, and I would like to pass on, when you're in the NBA or playing overseas or the CBA, MBDL, you have to be self-motivated. Listen, you have to be self-motivated. Them coaches are not going to motivate you like your college coach did. If you don't have it in you, you might not be successful. So there's times where we didn't even practice, right? Or when we did practice, we had walkthroughs. You know, we walked through for an hour and shoot around a little bit. And what happened to me is I kind of got out of shape because at practice, all we did was walk through stuff. You know, you walk through plays. There's no going up and down in practice, like none of that. And I blame myself for that, for getting out of shape. But afterwards, Coach Mulaney told me, he said, yo, you got to be self-motivated. There's no practice here. You're not in college anymore. So I learned that's a lesson. I tell these young kids, when they move on to the next level, you better be self-motivated, right? These coaches and these NBA guys will tell you today, coaches don't push us in practice like that. Run wind sprints and this and that. They don't do that. You're on your own. You know, when we practice 2 hours a day. The rest of the day is free. You do whatever you want. So if you ain't self-motivated, get back in the gym and work out and stay in shape. When your numbers called, you better be ready.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be ready.
Right.
Which is a funny story. I didn't play for like 5 games. So I'm disappointed now. Game 6, the point guard got in trouble. Got foul trouble. So coach put me in. Within 2 minutes, I scored a quick 8 points, right? 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Killing them. Going by them, laying them up. So I'm like, yeah. But I was so out of breath, I couldn't go no more. I was like, coach, take me out. Because I was out of shape.
Right.
That was the worst. And he said after the game, he said, I would have played you the rest of the game, but you out of shape. Can't play you. So I learned from there. So I pass it on to the kids today. Don't make the same mistake I made once you go to the next level.
Yep.
So, I try to pass on my knowledge. I want to see it happen to someone else. And
right.
So I kind of fell out there. Fell off from having that hunger to play because I wasn't getting many minutes. So the next best thing to stay involved with basketball is to coach.
Sure.
So I said, you know what? I want to get into coaching. I think I'd be great at it. I've been a point guard all my life. I'm the coach on the floor. I'm a leader. I could pass on my experiences, like I just mentioned, to these players.
Yep.
And how hard I had to work coming up from high school and college and what happened to me in the pros. So nothing better than that, to pass that knowledge on to these young fellas. And only way to do that is if you coach. And, I want to be a mentor to these kids because I experienced some of everything. And so I just thought I would be good at it. And Coach Penders gave me my first opportunity at the University of Texas. And, that's high-level basketball right there. So I learned a lot. And I tell you what, coaching is not as easy as it looks. I'm telling the average fan out there, it's not as easy as it looks.
Yep.
Right? A lot of work behind the scenes, like nobody knows about, unless you really know the game and you talk to other coaches. It's a lot of work. But I love it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, I had some fans in the stands, oh, yeah, just roll out the basketball. It's easy. Just roll out the basketball, go out there and play. No, it's not that simple.
Yep.
I wish everyone would be coaching then.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to it. But I enjoy it. You got to love it, though. You got to love it. I'm a basketball junkie, right?
Yeah.
I could watch basketball 24/7.
Yeah.
I love college basketball, then the NBA. I love college first.
Me too.
Then the NBA. And then I'll watch some WNBA, women's college basketball. So I love basketball. I watch it every day if I can. That's how you learn, though. So
exactly, yeah.
That's how you learn. Like the more you do these podcasts, you're going to get better and better Because once you review it, you're like, oh, I should have did this better.
Right.
Or maybe ask this type of question.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And that's how you get better. You getting better every day, Adam. I watched a couple of your shows. You're getting better every day, brother.
Appreciate that.
You're on your way. So when you make it, don't big time me.
I won't. I hope you're not big timing me. I've been big time before. It's not fun. But yeah, no. I mean, you know what they say is, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And
there you go. There you go.
I love doing this, and you love coaching. You love being around the sport of basketball, and it just makes sense. And I've talked to some coaches, and and they talk about, like you just said, it's not easy. It's a full year thing, between recruiting and summer sessions, practicing, and obviously doing the media stuff, the workouts, working with the players, player development. I mean, today in the press conference, Archie Miller was talking about just the next couple of months preparing for October, and his job is even harder now because he has to essentially build a team. So I can't even imagine like being a coach in general, but also just coming into a program for the first time. He's been hired for maybe a month now, maybe a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard.
Exactly. Yeah. So I give you guys a lot of credit, but again, if you love doing it, if you're truly passionate, the word is passionate. If you're truly passionate about it and driven to do it, then of course.
Like you said, it's not work if you love it.
Exactly.
I don't see it as work. I enjoy it. I love it.
Of course. You alluded to Texas. I want to ask, you also coached at the AAU level. A couple of schools you bounced around. I know you were under Al Skinner, UMass grad, former URI assistant, then head coach at Kennesaw State. Also coached at Nebraska, a couple other D1 schools. Just talk about what that experience.
St. Peter's.
What was that?
I coached at St. Peter's too.
St. Peter's, yeah. That's the hottest team right now.
I know. I know. Hey, now I'm taking credit for that.
Hey, you were there before anyone else, so
Right, I was there before them.
So, I mean, just talk to me about coaching at some of these schools.
You get different experiences at each school. Like I said, I started at the high level at Texas. You don't get no bigger than that. And so I went from Texas to St. Peter's. St. Peter's is a low D1. So they do things a little different as I learned as an assistant coach. So, at the high level, you got other staff members like do video for you. They might handle dealing with camps. And at that level, as a coach, you just show up to the camp. As opposed to working at St. Peter's, you got to handle all that work yourself. They can't afford the administrators to handle that for them. So the levels, you get treated a little different at them levels. But it's a great experience. So I experienced both. At Nebraska, that's high level basketball.
Yep.
And so you got to know how to recruit different levels. Now, myself personally, as a recruiter, I'm recruiting all high-level players, even at a low Division I. That's just my mentality. Because at Kennesaw State, I would take a look at this guy and say, I really like this guy. The assistant that I was working with, he said, man, he's a higher level than us. You can't get him. I said, you never know. I got the personality. I can win these kids over. I'm a people person. So once you have conversation with kids, that level sometimes might go out the window.
Right.
Depending on how you approach it and speak to the kid, right? You might say, look, I like the way you talk. You express, I can do certain things at this level as opposed to this level. I trust in you. I want to come here and establish my own, like I did myself. Rhode Island was at the low level. I had to help build that, along with some other players.
Yep.
And now Rhode Island's on a national collegiate level now. Everybody knows about URI. But when I got here, it wasn't like that. So that's how I approach my recruiter. It's depending on how I'm a people person, like I said, so I know how to talk to people, no matter the background. right? Doesn't matter about the background.
For sure, yeah.
I know how to relate. And that's my strength. That's one of my strengths. Now, listen, we all can coach, right? Put 5 coaches in the same interview room, right?
Yep.
We all got experiences. We all played. We all understand X's and O's. What separates me from them? My personality. You probably never heard that answer before. If I go in an interview and the coach asks me that question, what separates you from Tom over here? My personality.
Right.
I know how to relate to kids. I win them over. I got that approachable look, right?
Yeah.
When you approach me, I approach you with a smile.
Of course.
That's like welcome to my world, right?
Yep.
You have that stoic look, you might intimidate one of them players. They young, 17, 18 years old. That can intimidate a kid, you know? And it's all about personality.
Yeah, that's a great answer, honestly. I guess to follow that up, I know you may have been interested in returning to coaching and being on staff. If the opportunity presents itself, I'm sure somewhere else or somewhere, would you take that opportunity to get back into coaching at the collegiate level?
Of course. Like, I love coaching kids and help developing them as young men and future basketball stars. So if opportunity presents itself, yes, I would welcome it with open arms. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I thought so. I had to ask. I think
No, I appreciate that question.
Of course, I think a lot of schools can use someone that comes from experience. I see a lot of younger coaches nowadays, guys that are just coming out of playing and their playing careers, and that's great to see because they can really relate to today's game and everything like that. But I also think it should be balanced. Every staff, every school, pretty much, you should have someone who's played a couple of years back or even years ago, because they still have that experience. They still have valuable lessons that they can teach, no matter what age or when they played. And you see coaches nowadays too. I mean, Coach K is what is he, like 75 years old? He just retired, but he's coached at Duke for like 42 years. I mean, yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter, how old you are or when you played. Everyone has a lesson that they can teach and pass on or pay it forward, I should say, to someone else. So I had to ask a question, With
Coach K, right, it's adjustments, right? Coaches got to adjust too. You got to adjust to, the way these players are today.
Yeah.
Like, you might have to pamper them a little more now, as opposed to back then, when we played, the coaches was all in our face.
Yeah.
Spitting in our face, all that stuff. Can't do that nowadays. Yeah. You get reported.
Yeah. Especially with COVID too. I don't want anyone spitting in my face.
Back up, coach.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to Rhode Island real quick. I know you've been keeping up with the team recently. They welcomed Coach Archie Miller. I know a couple of role players have been considering the transfer portal. There's a lot of unanswered questions. Who he recruits, who returns. I mean, as weeks go on, we're starting to get some of those questions answered. Today they actually brought in assistant coaches Dwayne Woodward and Kenny Johnson onto the staff. I also saw that the Mitchell twins are actually transferring to Arkansas. I just saw that right before we hopped on. So I was just wondering, what your take was on this entire transition period for the program.
Well, like I said, it's going to be tough for Archie and with the transition with this transfer portal. Now, let's get to that. I don't like it at all. Like, they have to change that like ASAP. If you got 11 players from LSU transferred out. So the new coach that came in, he had 0 players on his roster. He had 1 walk-on. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 people transferring? Like, come on, man. They got to change the rule. I hate it. I swear I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't know who to talk to. I want to talk to somebody about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who you would go to about that, but.
So you don't build chemistry, right?
Right.
So there's no more 4-year players now. It's 1 year and they leaving. Look at St. Peter's, right? They have a great year. 3 of their best players want to leave now.
I was just about to say that. Yep.
Why don't you stay, build a program, put St. Peter's on the map. Don't make it a 1-year thing. Right? This transfer portal, kids like, oh, I'm better than what the level I'm playing at now. Or the coach yelled at me, I'm transferring. Like, suck it up. You gotta be a little tougher now. Like, suck it up. Stay with your program. Which school you gonna claim when your 4 years are up? For 5 years, 6 years now.
At that point too, like with all the years of eligibility nowadays, I mean, it's crazy because you get a COVID year, you can redshirt. I mean, guys, I think Richmond is the best example. They had like Grant Golden, Jacob Gilliard. They had guys that were like 6-year players last year, like 23, 24 years old going up against Rhode Island. I mean, we almost beat them, but still, like
they should win. It'd be 23, 24.
Point, it's just unfair. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it don't make sense to me. Like, they need to sit down and have a serious conversation about changing the rule back. If you transfer, you got to sit out.
Yep.
If you transfer within the conference, which some conferences don't allow, you got to sit 2 years. That'll eliminate all of that.
Well, I think another thing is with the transfer portal is you can ultimately build or demolish a team in one night. I mean,
no question.
Guys, like a new coach comes in. It just sort of happened with Iran. A couple of players, have those conversations with their families. And, I'm not against, like, people who want to transfer. I want to make that clear. Like, if that's, what their family's decision or if their personal decision.
Well,
whatever's best for them.
Yeah, I understand.
You and Tom Garrick said a similar thing. If you commit to Rhode Island, if you bleed Keeney blue, ultimately, no matter who's coaching, there's the idea, like, you should stay there and you should help the program. And there are a couple players, on the team currently that are doing that. And, I don't want to bash anyone, obviously, but, there is that whole debate, like, if you commit there, you should be committed. The whole term is commit. You are committed to play there. So 4 years.
I think you should stay.
Maybe 5, 6, whatever. So, but
it all stemmed from, coaches leave. They stay 2 years and get a better job. They leave. Why players can't do it? That's where all this stems from.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
You got to look at both sides, but now it's getting ridiculous, though. Like, come on.
It's crazy. I mean, every time I go on Twitter, it's another star player's transfer. I can see where you're coming from when you say that, especially right after the national championship and everything like that.
Yeah,
some teams, like, they just made the tournament and, like, not even a week after they get eliminated from the tournament. Like, Final Four, they're already transferring, they want to go somewhere else. So I'm just thinking, like, you guys just made the tournament. Stick around. Maybe if you're this good this year, like St. Peter's, maybe you'll be even better next year.
Right.
Especially with the talent coming in. So
you could be better, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. But,
I got to drink a little water.
No, you're good. Couple more questions. I won't take too much more of your time. Staying on Rhody, and then I got a couple of, like, rapid fire questions. Some quick ones, and then that's it.
All right.
Actually, like 2 or 3 more questions about Rhody, and then the rapid fire questions. But staying on the current state of the Rams, we talked about honoring Rhody's history. I'm sure you've been asked this recently. Some fans have expressed their interest in retiring numbers up in the rafters and really, honoring the program's history, really, both the men's and women's teams or programs within the center or even in Keeney Gym. With next year being an anniversary year for the 88 team and the 98 team, to highlight members of the program who have defined Rhody's history. I was wondering what your take was on that, and also who do you think should be retired or whose number should be retired?
Well, honoring the past teams that was successful, like our team, the 88, 98. I mean, that would be great. That's something, we have a nice big banquet with both teams. Like, that'd be wonderful. We can share stories. We could compare what team would have beat who. Like, I believe our 88 team would have beat the 98 team. Right? So we were having conversations like that. That would be great. We bring back all the past players and reminisce.
Sure.
And that's just supporting one another, and we're supporting the team presently. So you want to bring players back, players from the past. And that's how you build a legacy at the university, right? You got to bring back the players from the past. I mean, I know, it's different these days. Coaches come in and some don't have any concern about the plays that was here in the past.
Yep.
And, it depends on the coach. And I think it's a good idea to do it.
Right.
You gain more support. There's alumni that's out there that was in school when I was there, right? They don't feel like they're part of the program anymore because nobody reaches out to them. Nobody invites them to games. And not just basketball.
Right.
Football, the baseball, they want to be a part of the program, right? Like your dad, he want to be part of the program. He's an alumni here.
Yep.
Let's invite him, right? Let's get him out. We got a whole list of all the alumni. It's real easy.
Yeah.
Make us feel a part of it.
Sure.
That's all. And I forget your second part of your question.
If they should be honored in the Ryan Center, if numbers should be retired, and who do you think numbers should be retired if so?
Yeah, I think you should honor and retire some numbers, and that's part of establishing your program. When you have recruits coming, right? They go in the gym, look up in the rafters. They see a retired jersey. What they gonna say? I'm gonna get my jersey up there one day.
In Jersey City, New
Right?
Jersey, it's 6.
That's what I would say if I go in there and see some jerseys up there retired.
Yep.
And all that's gonna do is make that kid work that much harder. It's gonna benefit you, the coach,
Yep.
in the university, right? If they see that up there, they don't see anything. Like when none of the past players was worth it, they would look at it like that. That could be a turnoff.
Yeah.
Now,
I was gonna say from a recruiting standpoint, that's huge. So yeah,
it's
I'm glad you
huge.
brought that up. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at. So now who you should retire first, I don't know. I mean, you could go back in the days, you could consider Sly and Ernie. There's a lot of us. Myself, Tommy, Kenny, Tyson, Catino. There's a bunch of us.
Yeah.
And, who makes that decision or who should get up there first? I can't answer that.
Yep.
But if we go on off numbers, you go from there then.
Sure.
Not just one stat, scoring. It could be a number of stats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the leading scorer. Okay. Well, Tyson Will the leader in assists.
Yep.
So who gets up there first? We don't know.
Right.
I'm second in assists. Tyson first in assists. I'm first in scoring. He's second in scoring. Who goes up? How do you determine that? I don't know. I mean, we can start with the plays before us. Like I said, Steve Shubin, them guys back in the day.
Sure. Yeah.
Rhode Island has some really good players.
Of course.
Just get some numbers up there. I don't care. It don't have to be mine.
That's what I was gonna say. It doesn't even matter of the order. I mean, as long as someone's represented or something is represented. And again, as you mentioned, I'm glad that you mentioned that from a recruiting standpoint, a high school kid walks into the gym or walks into the Ryan Center, they look up and they see, Silk Owens or Tommy Garrick or Sly Williams. And that, I mean, I know if I was a recruit, I would be like, wow, that's cool. How do I get up there? And years from now, 5 years, whatever from now. So just to have that, but also just for, fans like myself and other people currently at the school, to learn about that history that I feel like it's mentioned, it's brought up, Frank Keeney is certainly brought up, but it's not brought up enough. It definitely needs to be. It needs to be highlighted more. And, I think, this is a great opportunity now. It's an anniversary year, why not do it this year? So hopefully we can make something happen. I mean, I'm a senior next year, so I'd love to see it.
You want to see a number up there, right?
Yeah, if not, I mean, I'll come back and visit for the game that they honor, you guys, but it's got to be up there soon. Before my kids are touring URI, I want to see some numbers up in the
There you go.
whatever arena is up there, and that's not going to be for a long time. So hopefully we get some numbers up there and we honor the program. A couple more questions for you, but if you had one favorite memory, that just sticks out with you, from your time here at URI, what would you say that was?
Beating Syracuse in the NCAA tournament. That was a great memory. Like I'll never forget, of course.
There you go.
That was great. Great memory for me. As well as, just meeting all my friends on campus. Like we still friends today. I had a lot of friends. And like I said, I'm a people person. So I had friends at first. They didn't even know I was on the basketball team. because I wanted to meet people and I want them to like me for me.
Yeah.
Not because I'm an athlete or I can score 20 points a game. I want you to like me for me. So I wouldn't tell them at first, until a few encounters. Then I'm like, look, I'm on the team. I need you to come out and support.
Sure.
And that's how we filled up the Keeney. But yeah, I had some great friends at URI.
Yeah, that's awesome. So all right, I have a couple of rapid fire questions for you. Don't think too much into them, just answer them the best of your ability. Like a couple questions. So the first one is, if you could compare your game, to any basketball player, playing right now, who would that be and why? Any college basketball player, NBA player, someone playing professionally.
Okay, I got
similar to you.
I got a pass NBA player. He's not playing right now, but
all right.
A lot of people say Nick Van Exel.
Okay.
We had similar games. Can get to the rack, both left-handed. Can shoot the three, really quick. So I would say Nick Van Exel.
Okay. Next question. Favorite Coach Penders memory?
Having fun with him on the bus rides.
Okay.
We had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, joking on one another. And like I was saying, I would call him Gene Wilder. Is an actor, famous actor.
Yeah.
You got the curly hair.
Yep.
And I said, Coach, you look like Gene Wilder. The whole bus crack up laughing. I don't know how funny it was, but we had a good time with that. And so he was that loose, like we could joke with the coach,
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like you got to have a coach that can take some jokes like that, and it's not all just strictly business serious. And,
right.
They can help a little bit, and they can show their personal side a little bit.
There you go.
Like you were talking about, putting on a smile for some of the players, and yeah, for sure. All right, next question. Toughest player to guard in your career?
That's a tough one. I'll tell you what. I say Howard Evans for Temple.
Okay.
He was tough to guard because he wasn't like a really, really offensive type minded guy. But when I needed a stop, he would always hit a big shot on me, like a big three. Like it was just hard to guard him because I wasn't sure when he was going to shoot it or not because he was a pass first point guard. So he was tough for me to guard.
So he was like clutch, like he always knocked out a big shot.
He was clutch, and I knew he was going to take it. I didn't know when. He was tough.
I got you. Favorite place to hang out with the team in like the Kingston, maybe Narragansett area, maybe after a big win?
We used to go several places. I think it was a place called Sandcastle.
Okay.
It's off campus. I think it's down the line somewhere. Sandcastle. We used to party there a lot after a big game. And, everybody, all the football players, basketball, the girls was there. So we partied out a whole night after a big win. So I would say Sandcastle. I don't even know if it's still up now.
I mean, I live in Narragansett. I don't know. We had Bonneview. You guys probably had Bonneview.
Yeah, we probably did. Yeah. So I was the type of player, I didn't go out much.
Okay.
When I did, I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, for sure. Go-to roommate on road trips in college? Like, who was the guy you were always sitting next to on the bus or rooming with on big trips?
Oh, Mergen Cena.
Oh, okay.
Mergen Cena, that was my roommate. And he's from Brooklyn as well. So we still always room together. And we had good times. Played a lot of card games and crack on each other. And
he transferred in, right, from like Seton Hall?
Yes. Now, funny story, I was supposed to play with him in high school. He was in a private school, and my dad wanted me to go to that same private school he was in, but I didn't want to go because I didn't want to wear a uniform. The private schools, you got to wear a tie.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, Like, you can't be coming back in the neighborhood with the tie on and slacks and shoes.
Yeah.
So I was like, Dad, no, I want to go to a public school.
I get that. Yeah.
So we go way back, Bergesina and I.
Sure. Yeah. Two more rapid fire questions, and then one more question to wrap it up. Who is like the character or like the clown on the team? Always be pulling off the pranks or the jokes or whatever.
Probably would be me. Probably would be me.
Any big ones specifically, or?
I can't think off the top of my head right now. But
Yeah.
if it happened, I probably was involved in it with Kenny Green. Probably the both of them. Yeah.
You still keep up with them, right? Kenny and Tommy.
Oh, yeah. I talk to Kenny almost every day. And Tommy and Bonzi Cozen. Yeah. We always go out to dinner, reminisce.
Yeah,
And,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, two more questions. This last one is a rep fire question, but favorite off the court memory at URI. You talked a little bit about playing in the Syracuse game, on the court memories, but your favorite off the court memory.
Going to the fraternity parties after a football game.
Okay.
It was like the best. Like I said, I didn't go out much, but when I did, I had a good time. And I used to love going to the fraternity parties after a big win from football. Now, you got to remember, back then, football was good.
Yeah.
They was, like, ranked in the top 20. Like, they was really good. They had some NFL prospects on the roster. And,
Okay.
I was friends with half of them. So I would go to the party with them and have a great time.
My dad was in Sigma Pi. I don't know if you ever partied with them.
I'm sure I probably did.
I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember.
They're not here anymore, but yeah, no, back then they were there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the last question I have for you is, what is next for Silk Owens?
Hopefully, I'm back into coaching college basketball. At what level, I'm not sure, or even high school. I just want to get back to doing something I love, and that's coaching the young kids, help developing them as men and basketball players. Yep.
Absolutely. Silk, thanks so much for taking the time. Looking forward to hopefully staying in touch, maybe coming back on in a couple months or a year or so. Let's get that number up there, number 10. Hopefully in the rafters soon. And
or someone's number if it's not
number.
Right.
Let's get honored in some way.
Right.
I'm gonna continue to keep doing this though, and try to honor Rhody's history as much as you guys deserve it, because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys. So appreciate everything again, and of course, go Rhody.
Go Rhody. Well, you're doing a great job, Adam. Keep it going. Like I said, when you get big time, don't forget me.
I won't. Hopefully. We'll see. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah. Price I want for sure, you gon' need 3 promoters. I got the body from Jim Ellis, but I had switched the motor. I got these badass bitch riding around this bitch named all the coders. I just told her make a story. I just bought all the Trojans.